we are officially at 1 month out from the English release of Phantasmal Flames. And I'm going to break down everything that you guys need to know leading up to release. We're going to talk pull rate data, we're going to talk prices, pre-ordering, everything that you guys need to know, the good and the bad. And there's kind of a lot of bad with how expensive everything is, but there is some good silver lining in there as far as pull rate. I think that's going to play a big factor moving forward. So make sure you watch all the way to the end. We're really going to touch heavily on some pull rate data at the very end of the video. So let's just jump straight into it. And we have to start off with the chase card of the set. I think this obviously is drawing a lot of eyes to the set. It's creating a lot of hype, and I think rightfully so, because I think this is one of the best Charizard cards we've ever gotten. It features not only Charmander, you have Charmeleon, Charizard, and Mega Charizard all in one card. Absolutely stunning. People are going to be going crazy for this card. They're going to be trying to pull it, and you know, this is the main draw for the set. It's not a very big set. The set size is very small. So the good news is, as we'll talk about later, is that this card is actually going to be a lot easier to pull than you think. So that is some very good news. The bad news is it's going to be very expensive, because right now we're looking at the Japanese card, and it's around a $700 card on TCG Player. So very, very expensive. There's not that many copies on TCG Player right now. Not that TCG Player's Japanese side of their market is very big. Not a ton of Japanese sellers. There's definitely a lot more on eBay. But yeah, $700 card for a near mint copy. And it's going to be more expensive in English. That's usually what we see. There's very few exceptions of when a Japanese card is more expensive than in English. It does happen, but I don't think that's going to be the case for this card. The English card is going to be more expensive. So now that the Japanese has been out for a while, we have like kind of a baseline of what to expect. So currently around $700. PSA 10s, we're finally starting to see hit the market as well. These are the last solds. There's not that many currently listed. So I think that's why we saw this card shoot up. These both sold yesterday, $1,800, and then this one ran for bids and went all the way up to $2,400, which does seem a little high because all the other sales before that, you got $1,800, $1,800, $1,800, and $1,800. Before that, these were like the first few that hit the market, so those seem a little inflated there as well. So you can expect some big numbers from PSA 10s, both Japanese and English. But the good news is, there is a little bit of good news for you PSA 10 collectors out there. What we saw with Mega Evolution is that the print quality is actually really good. So it's easier to hit a 10 on a lot of these cards. So if that transfers over to Phantasmal Flames, which we don't know for certain, but I would expect that it could continue, is that, you know, that PSA 10 might be a little cheaper than some cards in the past, just because the gem rate will be much higher. So that does bode well for PSA 10 collectors. Now, we do need to talk about some of the prices on the secondary market. Now, we're looking at TCG Player. Some of these are really high. This is the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box we're looking at right now, just under $600. Now, we just saw this with Mega Evolution. I've said it many times. Don't FOMO into these prices on TCG Player. There's only a few like sellers that are authorized to do pre-sale on TCG Player, and they just pump the price up, right? I mean, look, there's only 2 sellers right now, and they're selling at $600 and $700. So they run these prices up because they're the only ones that can sell. They set the price, right? The sad part is that some people buy them, right? There definitely are sales happening. They're definitely real. There might be some fake ones in there, but I'm sure that there's definitely real sales that happen. People do FOMO into these prices, and they don't shop around. At release, this will drop, like release day, release morning. We just saw it happen with Mega, okay? Both of the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes, they dropped a lot on release date, and then after that, they actually started to rise fairly quickly. But just keep in mind, release day, release morning, you should have a much better chance to pick this up at a more affordable price. Now, booster boxes are looking a little bit like a kind of a different story. Currently, they're kind of changing from what I'm hearing. Now, I don't have distribution access, just as full transparency, so I'm hearing this from other places, other people who do have distribution, including credible sources like Danny Phantup just recently talked about this. So, I am piggybacking a little bit of my info when it comes to this off of him, because I just don't have distribution access, so I have to go to others to get that information. So I'm relaying that a little bit. So, full credit to Danny Phantup. If you want to, obviously, if you don't know who he is, massive creator on YouTube, feel free to go check out his content. But when it comes to the booster boxes, it looks like they may be printing less and printing more ancillary products. Now, this isn't something that's unique to this set. We've seen it happening for a while now. They've been prioritizing other things. So it does tend to keep the booster box pricing high. And also you couple that with, it is confirmed that this set is going to be released in 2 waves, which I honestly think is a bad thing, because I don't think you get enough initial surge of product to meet the demand, and it gets eaten up real quick. And then you get a little bit more and the prices just kind of like stay the same and like slowly climb. So booster box price, expect to be kind of expensive. When it comes to TCG player pricing, they're currently selling for around $327. Very expensive, but if you look at what just happened with Mega, as far as the booster box pricing, this isn't that crazy high. Not like the Pokemon Center ETBs. Like, this really isn't that much higher than what we saw Mega, going for. I think Mega barely dipped below 300 just for a little bit, and now it's at like over 300, obviously. So that doesn't really seem as crazy, but we should see an initial drop at release for this as well. It just might not be as much. I thought it was going to be a little bit bigger for Mega. It turned out to not be. So I would think that that trend would continue. So just be careful when it comes to pre-ordering booster boxes. There are other places to pre-order them from cheaper right now if you have to pay these high prices. So that's kind of the situation with booster boxes. Before we go any further, real quickly, I wanted to talk about Poke Armor. Now, they're not a paid sponsor of the channel or anything. I just wanted to give them a shout out. We talked about them, I don't know, it was a few weeks ago now, but just wanted to give them another shout out. If you're looking for any sort of acrylics to protect your expensive Elite Trainer boxes, Pokemon Center, your booster boxes, bundles, anything that you have, Poke Armor has it. They're currently working on their website. It's not fully up yet. So right now they're just selling on eBay. There will be a link in the description if you guys want to check it out. But if you order 4 or more, they're around $20 free shipping. It's actually a pretty good deal. And I think they're very high quality acrylics. I like the magnets. They're nice and strong. It's got the magnetic top on these. So these are what I use to display all of my stuff. You have my booster boxes up here, some ETBs and other products. So if you want to check out Poke Armor, there's a link in the description. Feel free to check them out. Once again, not a paid sponsor. I just wanted to do something nice and give them another shout out. Next up, regular Elite Trainer boxes. This is one that's very high right now. This will come down upon release. To what extent, I'm not entirely sure. It may not be quite as much as I'm hoping. I'm hoping they dip below 100, but they'll definitely be down to at least around 100. And currently they're at 158, 160. So be careful with that on TCG Player right now. I would wait for these to come down. These should be available and a lot more affordable. Still, everything's still expensive, but right now, way too expensive on TCG Player for this. Booster bundles are in a similar situation. They were higher, back here they were around $90 in September, but now we're seeing currently around 70. This is another one. I would just wait till release. They'll drop. More people will be able to sell on TCG Player. Release morning probably is going to be a good time to pick up some of these orders on TCG Player. And then lastly, for sealed product, I wanted to talk about sleeve packs because these are obscenely expensive, $21. Don't be paying these prices. Danny, referencing back to Danny Phantom, he was mentioning recently that at least as far as his allocation goes, I would assume that this would be, across everything. I don't think it's specific to him, but he was saying that he was allocated, I think, around double the amount of sleeved packs. So looks like they may be taking some of those packs that would have went into booster boxes and putting them into other products so they can go to more people and be dispersed a little bit more. So that's some good news. That definitely means that this price will be a lot more affordable. So don't be paying this $21 per pack price. So just avoid that. Wait till release. If you have to buy on TCG Player, wait till release, okay? I cannot hammer that home enough, right? You can go back and look at Mega, look at all the prices for Mega, and you can see what happened, up like at release, before release, and then release day, and then after, stuff started rising. Also, we do have, it's not just that Charizard SIR that we do have that's going to be the chase. We do have the gold Charizard. Now, it's the only gold card in the set, at least that we know of now, unless something changes, but it looks like it's going to be the only one. It's currently selling for around $840 on TCG Player. So we have like I said, this has been out for a little while now. Prices of this may drop, after English comes out, but we have kind of a baseline of like roughly what to expect. So the gold is holding up just a little bit more expensive currently than the SIR version. And that's just, at least we have a baseline, right? I like knowing kind of what to expect. So I would expect this card in English, probably over 1,000, depending. However, this card will be a lot easier to pull as well. Twice as easy. to pull, actually, than the cards from Mega Evolution. We'll talk about that in a second. Once again, I have the pull rate data coming up. This one is a little controversial. This is the Oricoro. This was getting a lot of hype because this is a Shinji Kanda artwork. And you can see it's holding up well in Japanese right now. I mean, it is dropping, but it's over $100 currently. This is a promo card in English, so we're not getting this in the main set. So keep that in mind, that we don't get this card. So this was another one we saw, some other Shinji Kanda cards been going up recently on the English side. We're not going to get this card, in the set. So it's going to be a promo. I still think it'll be for a promo. It'll do fairly well, maybe be kind of expensive because I do think it's a nice looking card. But this one, a little controversial. I think some people definitely wanted this as a chase in the set. So they're taking that out on the English side. So just as a note there. And then I wanted to touch on also just to give you a reference of pricing, what you can expect. So this is where we're at with Mega currently. The gold Lucario and gold Gardevoir are over $600. The Lucario is closer to $700 market at $688. Mega Gardevoir is at $620. Then you have the chase cards from the set, right? These are SIRs, obviously stunning. Both of these, both the Lucario fighting the Venusaur and the Gardevoir, both over $300, $313 and $305 there. Booster boxes are starting to climb right now. They're still holding enhanced around $310, $309 currently, and those have been shooting up. The Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes that we mentioned earlier, they shot up like right after release. There was like a blip when they dropped at release day, and they've been going up. $250 and $237 there. The Mega Venusaur SIRs at $216, Mega Latios at $161. Now, when you look at this set, the other thing to keep in mind is that Mega is a much deeper, much bigger set than Phantasmal Flames, right? There's just a lot more cards, illustration rares, SIRs, double the amount of golds as well. So all of that plays a factor. And let's talk about the pull rates. So this is the shining ray of hope, the silver lining, if you will, for the set, because these packs are going to be expensive. They're going to be hard to get, just like every product, right? But the good news is this is TCG player data from opening over 5,000 packs. The pull rates for any Mega Hyper Rare is 1 out of 1,260 packs. And then if you want to pull a specific one, it's actually 1 out of 2,500 if you do the math, right? Because there's 2 cards. Now, there's only going to be one. Just the one Charizard. So it's still going to be very expensive. But if you hit a gold, you hit the Charizard, right? So technically, it's 1 out of 1,200 packs versus 1 out of 2,500 for that Charizard. Now, when it comes to special illustration rares, this is where it's going to be so much better to potentially pull that Charizard. If these pull rates hold, which I assume they will, you get 1 SAR out of 100 packs, roughly, give or take. Now, this is the list in Japanese of what we have for the cards, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 SARs in Japanese. However, we already know that the Oricoro is not included in the English set. It is a promo. So we have 1, the Charizard, the Rotom, the Sharpedo, the Lopunny, and Dawn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you do the math. It's going to be 1 out of 500 packs to pull that Charizard. So there's going to be more of them out there. They're going to be easier to pull. Obviously, going to be extremely hyped, right? People are going to be frothing at the mouth, going absolutely crazy for this card. But if you get your hands on some product, maybe you score. Maybe you got some good pre-orders and then you scored at your local Target, Walmart, whatever it may be, your GameStop. You're actually able to get some stuff. Then you're actually going to have a pretty decent chance, all things considered, to actually pull that Charizard. So, they released the craziest artwork that we've had in a long time, if not ever, for one of the most popular Pokemon, and you're actually going to have a good chance to pull it. So that, I think, is the thing that people should be the most excited for, is that you have a really good chance to pull this. Now, the downside is, with a set like this, there's a lot of potential letdown, right? And I do feel bad for like the other cards in the set, like the Rotom. I do actually like the Sharpedo a lot. But between Dawn, Lopunny, Sharpedo, and Rotom for the English sets, you're going to be really disappointed if you pull any of those 4 SIRs and not pretty much the only one that you want right here. So, you know, and then obviously we have a lot of illustration rares as well. I don't think there's anything like too crazy as far as illustration rares go. There are some very nice ones that I do think will do well. I actually really like this Dugong. I think this card will do really well. It's a stunning looking card, but there's nothing too crazy when it comes to illustration rares. So pretty much it turns out like this set is like, you want the gold Charizard or the SIR Charizard. It's Charizard or bust for this set. So let me know how you guys feel about this in the comments. Are you like kind of optimistic for it? Are you a little happy? Are you a little worried? Because even with like good pull rates, I still think that this is going to be a very expensive set. But they really, did the whole kind of Obsidian Flames thing with the smaller set and stuff like that. But they give us a crazy card to chase. So it's kind of changing my perspective of this set. So a lot of the times for me personally as a collector, when it comes to, a chase card like this, this is a card that I obviously want in my collection. But in the past, for the most part, I tend to just buy the card. It makes more sense. Statistically, it makes more sense to buy the chase card than to try and pull it. However, with this being like having better chances, this is one where I kind of maybe want to have the chance to pull this card. So it's kind of changing my perspective on how I approach Phantasmal Flames. So we'll have to see how the prices end up, moving into release. If I'm actually able to score some stuff in store, whether it's Walmart or Target or anything else at release, that's going to change like my view as well, because when Destined Rivals came out, I was actually able to get some packs of Destined Rivals at MSRP, so I was able to rip some and made it more affordable. But when Mega came around, I had worse luck. I wasn't really able to get much at MSRP to rip. We did get a little bit, and we ripped on the channel, so if you guys want to check that out, there are a few videos back now. We did rip a booster box and an ETB. So I'd love to continue that trend and actually have a chance to pull the Charizard, but the UPC coming out, that's a big one as well. So there's a lot of hype happening around this set. So good news and bad news across the board. I do think that the split release is bad overall. But, if it gives them time to like make sure the print quality is better, that is a good thing. That's definitely going to change the PSA 10 market like into the future as far as some of these cards, because if stuff starts aligning closer to like Japanese level print quality, I don't think they can, necessarily meet that. But if it gets a little closer, that definitely will affect the market. Because you look at, obviously, Japanese is a little less desirable, but you look at the difference between raw to PSA 10 for most pricing, and it like doesn't go up too much on the Japanese side. So we may see that gap between like raw to PSA 10 on English kind of maybe come down a little bit in the future as well. So that could be good for collectors. It means you can afford more cards, have more stuff in your collection. Bad for those who obviously collect just like very expensive PSA 10s, because that's going to kind of change that a little bit. So there's always pros and cons to everything, but that's all I have for you guys in this one. Hopefully this was a little helpful, just bringing all of the information into one little video. So very excited for the set though. I can't wait. Like I said, I gotta get some more. I gotta score some stuff at MSRP so I can actually have a chance to rip some packs. But yeah, I'm just also while I'm talking to you guys right now, I still have that Charizard up on the screen, and the more I look at it, man, that card is just so nice looking. Can't wait to see it in person. But yeah, that's all I have. Phantasmal Flames is gonna be a great set. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and remember, it was never a phase.